Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening depending on the time you are watching this video. I am by name Adamu Bashir from OZ Madogo General Enterprise, and in this video we want to take you through the complete overview of our school management system. The system is actually categorized into three. The first category is the one with only the e-result management system. The second one is the one that comprises the e-result management system with some features that actually make it to be the complete school management system without the CBT. While the third category of the software is actually the one that has the CBT. That is, it's having the feature of the e-result management system with the complete system added with the CBT. So depending on the type of the project you actually purchase from us, but this video actually explains all the system together. So I'll quickly take us through the presentation for the system and show us how the system actually works. Currently, the page you are seeing here is actually the admin login page. This is the admin login page, and if you go to this top here, we have our teachers page. This is the teachers page. You are going to see this as a teacher, and if you are the student that actually want to log into your system, you also have the student page here. And all this background are going to be managed by the admin of the system. So let's quickly log into the admin dashboard and actually continue with the presentation. So my username is this, and my password is this. So you can click the eye icon here for you to be able to see the password, and if you, after inputting all your necessary details, you just decide to click on the login. So you can see I have logged successfully here. So it will take me to the dashboard. I am currently logged in as a super admin, and you are going to see the current session, and you are going to see this current school time, and this is the entire dashboard of the system. We'll have the super admin. We also have the normal admin, and we'll have the teacher and the student. The super admin will be able to manage the entire aspect of the system, both the admin, the teacher, and the student. The admin can only manage the teacher and the student, while the teacher will only be able to manage the students that are assigned to his or her own specific class. So you can see from the dashboard here, we have the total class to be 3. The total students currently registered on the system is 8, and the total section that we have is 9. The total subject offered in the school to be 12. All teachers that are registered currently in this system is 3, and the entire generated pin you have for the school will show here. You can see we have 18, and the assigned pin, this assigned pin is the pin that the student actually used. So you will now be able to see the assigned pin here, and you also have the leave. You will be able to see the total number of the leave that was actually sent to you. You can see the pie chart here actually take the total number of the students. You can see SS1 has this icon here with the pie chart to show that is the biggest one, because we have SS1. You can see the total number of students here to be 5, and SS2 we have this to be this. You can see we have 2, and SS3 students only have this. So the total number of the students in the class, you will now be able to also identify that from this pie chart here. So the next one we also have is the student here. But if you check here, this more information, anytime I click on this more information, it will take me to the respective pages of all of these. So the next one we have here is the student. If I click on the student here, it will take me to the entire page whereby we have the student. So in this page, I'm going to manage the entire student of the system. So you can see here, we have this to be the student. You can see the managed student. If you want to add students to the system, you click on this icon, add a student, and it will take you to the page whereby you are going to add a student. So if I decide to add a student, and I click on this, it will take me to that page. But before that, let's check these options here we have. Now please select a class to view the available class. If I also take my cursor to this place, you can see only classes with students added are clickable. So that means if I don't have any student in this class, I will not be able to click this. If I don't have any student in any of these classes, I will not be able to click on any of these classes. So here you can see we have the total number of the students to be 5 in SS1, and in SS2 the total number of the students we have is 2, and in SS3 the total number of the students we have is 1. So if I want to go and add a student, I'll click on this add student to be able to add a student. Currently we have 1 student in SS1. I want to delete this student here so that we should be able to work with this option here that we have. If I click on the SS1 student, you will be able to see the student name, the username of the student, the reg number of the student, the section, and also the status. So the moment I click on any one of these, you will be able to see the options of the student below. You can search a student using this icon for you to be able to search. You can also print this page. You can export it to be an Excel format, and you can also decide to copy this page. But currently, I want to delete this page so that we should actually work with this option and see how this works. If I go and click on this delete student, that is the test student, that is the name of the student, test student. You are about to delete this student. Are you sure? This action cannot be undone. If I click on delete student, you can see student data deleted successfully, and the page has refreshed, and I don't have any student here. If I go on and click on this, you can see it's not clickable again because the total number of the students in this class is 0, and from here we said only classes with students are clickable. So even after clicking on this, you can see it's not clickable. If I go to SS1 and I click, I will be able to get the entire student under SS1 class. And if I click on SS2, I'm going to get the entire student under the SS2 class. So after deleting the students, like you can see that you will not be able to click on any one of these. I want to go and add a student now for we to be able to see how the add a student actually work. I'll click on this add a student. So the moment I click on add a student, you see you must create a teacher, the class, the section before creating a student. So all of this information I need to actually follow with it before I will not be able to create a student. You need to create a teacher, you need to create the class, you need to create the section before creating the student. Now this is the add student form. Now this is the student name, whereby you are going to input the student name. You are going to give the student his own unique username, and this username will be what the student is going to use to log in into the system. And you also include the date of birth of the system. You also include the sex of the student, either male or female. You include the religion of the student, and you also include the email address of the student. You include the phone number of the student and the country. You also include the state, the local government, and the address of the student. You also include the class of the student and what section does the student actually belong to, and you will be able to select the photo of the student using this option here. Then we also have the auto-generated registration number of the student. That is, this one is actually generating this information automatically from the system. So you will not be able to edit this information. And we also have the password, so that you should be able to know anytime you are creating a password for the student, you should be able to view this password with what you have for the student. The moment I'm typing this, you can see I will not be able to see this, right? But the moment I click on this view, I can say, okay, now this is the view password. I will not be able to take note of this password for this specific student. I should be able to take note of this password for this specific student. So in the process of creating the student, you need to have something down that you are writing all of this information for the student, so that you should not actually forget the password of the student. However, if you forget the password of the student, you can still edit it as the admin. So let's quickly input the student and add the student to SS3. Let's give this name to be student. Let's say student name to be, if I take 6 and I decide to take the day of being to be, let me take a random date of birth. Username, let me give it student 6. And also have an authentication system that any student that has already been registered in the system, you will not be able to add that same information for another student. Let's say this to be male, student 6, the religion to be Islam, email address to be adamu@gmail.com, and the phone number to be 080111111, and also add an auto check system so that you should be able to check that the number you are adding to this should not be more than 11. The maximum number you add for the phone number should be 11. You also select the country of the student. You input the state of the student. You input the local government of the student. The state, I want the state to be FCT. You will type in the state. You also include the address of the student. You also include the local government and select the class. So in this aspect, let's say I want to select SS3 because I have already deleted the student in SS3 before. I want to select the section. Let's say I want to give it an art class student, and also select the phone. You also select the photo of the student. So on selecting the photo of the student, you go to the picture and select any of the photo that you wanted to add for the student. Say I want to use this photo and add for the student. After selecting the photo, the password I want to use for the student is 123456 878 1 to 8. Then if I click on add student, you'll get this, like username already exists. So that means I can't add this student because a username has already been given to a student, that is the student OOCs, right? So I will not be able to use this username. And you can see the photo name with the same name already exists because I've already deleted the photo of the student, of which it's still remaining in the system, right? It's already saved in the file. So for me to now be able to use that same photo of that same student, I will now have to rename the photo of the student, maybe to add a separate letter to the student so that the system will be able to take the photo of that student as the photo of the student is still in the system. So talking about the username, I can even go and change this name to be, let's say student 11, or let's say student 15, and 0015. And talking about the photo, the photo has already been taken, so I will just quickly go and select another photo to see if this photo is not included in the database. So let's say I want to use this photo. Now I've changed the photo and the password still remain 1 to 8. If I click on our student, you can see this student name 15 added successfully. So it's going to give you a message that student with that name that you actually use, because for the name I use student 15, it has added successfully and is already in the SS3. Now if I decide to click the SS3, I will now be able to get the student information. So now that I have the student information, if I want to view the student, I can click on this icon to view the student. If I want to edit the student, I can click on this to edit the student or delete the student. To view the student, if I click on this icon, I will now be able to view the student. You can see the student name to be this, the date of birth is this, the class, the country, the local government, the religion, the phone, and also the reg number of the student. You can see the username. You can see username cannot be changed. The username cannot be changed. You can see the sex of the student. You can also see the section of the student. You can see the state and also the status of the student. These are the view information of the student. Now going back to the picture, you will be able to see this picture. You are viewing this, and the terminal report card. You will be able to see that the student does not have any report card, no data in the table, right? You have 0 available terminal report card for the student. And if you click on this setting, you will now be able to update the student password. So under this, you can see change student 15. Now student's name. This is the student name now to be the student's 15 password. This is the student name, and you will be able to include the new password. You will be able to include the confirm password, and also have this icon for you to now be able to see the password that you are inputting in, and you can update the student password by clicking on this. But on changing the student password, when creating it, we actually created with a simple password to be 1234567 This is just to enable any of the students that you are giving them those passwords for them to be able to use, and you can also tell them that the moment they log into the system, they can go to their dashboard, their respective dashboard, to change their password. but they need to work with the password you actually give them for them to be able to change the password. And when updating the password, you need to work with the uppercase. You need one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, one special character, and the length of the password should be between 6 to 16. So anytime I'm typing anything here, you can see I'm just typing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I want to check, I can just check the password by this. If I want to confirm, I can still type the same thing for me to be able to confirm. So on confirming this, I just stop at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see I missed the 7. So based on that, I have to add the 7. And if I'm okay with it, I will just click on update password. And the error you get here, password must include all of this information, uppercase, lowercase, and everything. Then I will not be redirected because the password is not changed. The password is not changed for the system, so you need to use the proper password. So if I want to use a proper password, I can see now student student 0015, that's student 15. Let's say an @. Let's add an @. So this is student 0015 with the @ I copy that same password and still include it here. This is the student's password, and I click on update password. You can see, now you can see this message, student password was updated successfully, redirecting to all students. So if the password is successful, I will now be able to get back to this page to show that the password is successful for the student. So after explaining all the necessary things needed to work with the student area, the next thing we have is the teacher. If I click on this teacher, I will now be able to get all the teacher's information I have in the school. You can see this is the teacher's photo. This is the name of the teacher. This is the username of the teacher, the phone number of the teacher, and the email address of the teacher. If you want to get more information about the teacher, you click on this view icon. The moment I click on this view icon, I will now be able to get more information about the teacher. So this is the teacher's name, call it to be teacher 1. The designation of the teacher. This designation of the teacher can be maybe the post the teacher is holding in that school, and also the class that maybe the teacher is taking. Or if it is just a post, you will just put the post of the teacher. Let's assume the teacher is the exam officer, and also maybe maybe the teacher is the form master of SS1, and also the class teacher of SS2, or maybe a subject that is taking the maths in SS2. Then you can include to be SS1 form master and math teacher SS2, maybe SS1 form master and SS2 math teacher, depending on how you actually want to work with it. So for the designation, that is what is going to be here for that specific teacher. Either form master SS1 and SS2 math teacher, or maybe if it is just the form master or form master SS1. If it is just the teacher, maybe SS2 teacher, if that is the designation of the teacher in the school. Now for the username, you also be able to get the username of the teacher, the date of birth of the teacher, the date that the teacher actually joined the school, and the gender of the teacher, either it's a male or a female, the religion of the teacher, the email address of the teacher, the phone number, the country of the teacher, the state of the teacher, the local government of the teacher, the address of the teacher, and also the status of the teacher. Is it still active or not active? You will be able to get the status, and this is where you are going to get the photo of the teacher. If I want to go back, I'll click on all teacher up here, and I will be redirected back to the teacher's dashboard. And if you also want to search for a teacher, I will be able to use this icon to be able to search for that teacher. And the moment I click on this, let's say I want to search for teacher 1 or teacher 3, I will just type on teacher. This is teacher and just add the 3 because they all have teacher to their name. You can see the moment I just type on add this to be teacher 3, it's only fetch teacher 3. So if I want to edit the information of teacher 3, I'll just come and click on the edit. So under the edit, you will be able to get all of this information, but you can still not edit the username because that is unique to that specific teacher. So if after finishing the edit, if you are okay with everything, you can just click on the update to edit the teacher. If you also want to change the photo of the teacher, you use this option to update the photo of the teacher. If I click on this option now, you can see, please select a photo to upload. And if I still take the same photo, it will not allow me to be able to upload that photo. But for this, if I just click on the update, you can see the teacher was updated successfully. The teacher was updated successfully, and I will be redirected back to the teacher page. If you want to add a teacher, if you click on this add teacher, this is just where you are going to input the teacher's information. But for you to be able to add a teacher, you must create a teacher before creating a class. So you must create a teacher before creating the class of the teacher. So you will have the teacher's name, the designation, just like I explained, can either be the form master of SS1 and maths teacher SS2. You will also include the date of birth of the teacher, the gender of the teacher, the religion of the teacher, the email address, the country, the phone, the state of the teacher, the local government, and the date when the teacher actually joined. With the address of the teacher, you also click on this icon to add the teacher's photo, and you also change the status of the teacher from here as the admin to either be active or inactive in the school. You also give the teacher a username for the teacher. You can see you'll be able to add the password for the teacher. So that is how to be able to create the teacher, and also take note of your password so that you should be able to use it and jot it down. Just find a paper to jot the information of the teacher. The moment you are giving the teacher this information, you should be able to also give him the password, and if the teacher wants to change his password, he can go to his dashboard and actually do that. So if I click on all teacher, I will be redirected back to the teacher's page. So after explaining the teacher's information here, the next one we have is the academic. So under the academic here, if I click on this, I have the class, I have the section, I have the subject, I have the syllabus, the timetable, and the promotion. So all of this information you are getting here are actually for the complete school system with the CBT. So it might be that your own might not have the syllabus or the timetable as regards to those that are either using the e-result system. But for the complete school system, both with the one with the CBT and the one without the CBT, they all have the syllabus and the timetable included under this. For those without the CBT, for just the e-result system, they only have the class, the section, the subject, and the promotion. So under the class here, if I click on the class, this is where you are going to create the class. This is all class page. Now if I want to add a class, I'll be able to click on this to add the class. Now you come and add the class. What is the class name? And you also select the teacher that you want to assign to that specific class. And if you check below here, you see, please note, you must create a teacher before creating a class. So if you also come to the class page by clicking on that button there, if I come here, I have all the classes, and I also have the teacher that are assigned to the class. If I want to edit a class, I can click on this edit icon to be able to edit the teacher in that class. If I don't want to edit this, I will just click on the all classes, and I go back to the all classes. You will now be able to change any one of these. After clicking on the edit, let's say I want to change this to also go back to teacher 2, and I decide to click on update. You can see class information updated successfully. So SS1, that is class teacher 1, is now the teacher 2. Then let me also take it back to the teacher 1 for SS1. I take back and also update. You see class information updated successfully. So it's now back to the teacher 1. You can also decide to delete the teacher by clicking on this icon. You will be asked, like, you are about to delete SS1. Are you sure? Yes, delete class, or close this. You will be able to search for the class, and you should be able to search for the teacher in that respective class. If I want to search for SS1, I will just type SS1, and all the information as regards to SS1 will be displayed for me here. You can see from this option here, we say you must create a teacher before creating a class. So that is all about the class. The next one we have is the section. So under this section, you are going to see all of this information too for you to be able to work with. Under the section, you can see we have the art section icon here, and we also have the SS1, SS2, SS3 to be our section. So any section that you have for any of these classes, you will now be able to get them here. And also this, we also have this information. Please select a class to view this section. And only class with the section are clickable. So if we have any class here that don't have a section, the class is not going to be clickable, and this is going to be 0. You can see here we have for the SS3, we have 3 sections available in SS3. Here we have 2 sections available in SS2, and we also have 3 sections available in SS1. Depending on the type of the section that you have for your classes, for your schools, you will be able to get all of this information here. If I want to add a section, I will just click on the add section here. You will come and select the section name that you want to add. You will come and select the category of the section. You will also select the capacity of the section. How many total number of individuals do we have in the section? And you also select the class that you want to assign that section to, and also the teacher that will be assigned to that section. You will be able to assign all of these, and the moment you input all of this information, you just click on the add section button here. And checking below here, you can see, please note, you must create a teacher and a class before creating a section. You must create a teacher and a class before creating a section. Without filling any of this information, if I click on add section, you can see I have this error message displayed to me that this value is required, that is, the section name is required. If I also come here, you can see the category is required, the capacity is required, the class is required, and the teacher is actually required. So if I go back to the all section, I will now be able to go back to this page whereby I have the manage section option. For the SS1 that I have the section, the moment I click on this SS1, I will now be able to get all the information I have for the SS1. You can see for the section, we have science class, and the capacity is what? Is 50. And the category is junior secondary school. Who is the teacher that is managing this section is what? The teacher 1. And if we want, we can also edit this section, and you can also delete the section. So the moment you have already checked that, you can also search for the section by clicking on this search option and also type the section. Let's say I want to type for the art class. You can see I'm able to type for the art class, and the moment I just input that, I have the art class option here. So if I also click on SS2, I also have all the sections available for SS2. If I click on SS3, I have all the entire section that are available for the SS3. This is the high level education, and teacher 3, teacher 3, teacher 3 are all assigned to this section. So after explaining the section, the next one we have here is the subject. The moment I come and click on the subject, you can see if I want to add a subject, this is the manage subject page. If I want to add a subject, I'll just click on this, that is add subject, and you will now be able to select the class. You select the teacher that is taking the subject, you select the pass mark for that subject, and you select the final mark for the subject. Let's assume the pass mark for the subject to be 50. You will put 50 here. That is, any student that score from 50 and above, the student have actually passed the course. That is the subject or the course. Now for the final mark, any student that gets up even the final mark, the student have actually passed. So the range from 50 to 100, the student have actually passed the subject. Now you also have the subject name and also the subject code. You have the subject name and the subject code for you to be able to use. At the moment you have finished that, you just click on the add. You click on the add, and it automatically adds the subject to the specific class that you actually want to assign that subject to. If you check this option here, we said please select a class to view available subject. Now on checking this, you'll see only classes with subjects added are clickable. SS3, I don't have any subject, that is why I cannot click it. SS2, I only have 2 subjects, that's why you can see 2 here, and the 2 subjects are, one electrolysis and the second one is physics. Electrolysis, the subject code to be Chem 201, and the physics should be PHY 201. And the teacher that are assigned to these are teacher 2. They are the ones that are taking the subject, and the pass mark for these are 50, and the final mark is 100. Same thing apply to the physics. If I want to edit this subject, I'll click on this option to edit the subject. You can see this is the subject name, the subject teacher, the pass mark, the final mark, this is the subject name, and this is the subject code. The moment I click on this, you see subject code Chem 201 already exists. The system is actually designed so that the subject code will actually differentiate the subject of that specific class, so that you should not have the same subject having the same code. You should not have the same subject having the same code. So if I actually want this subject to actually work, then I will have to change this code. If I'm using 201 here, I can use 202. And even after using 202, you can see subject name electrolysis already exists for class SS2. The name has already exists for this class SS2. So I don't need the subject again because it has already added to this class. So for me to be able to work with, I need to also change the subject name, because the subject name and the subject code are actually working together. So for as long as any of these two are present in the system, for as long as any of these two are the same in the system, then the system will actually tell you that the subject for this class already exists. The subject for this class already exists, so you will not be able to use it in that class again. You are just going to use it in another class, not in that same class. So I have to like maybe change. If I have electrolysis, I can maybe take one electrode, maybe let me just take it to be electrolyte, then came 202. If I say 201 now again and I click on our subject, you can see it will tell me that the subject code chem 201 already exists in this aspect, because the subject code will actually differentiate the subject even if the subject is there. That is, even if that is not checking, the subject code will definitely check to be able to differentiate the subject that we have in this class and in the other class. So if I take it back to 202 now and I click on update, you can see subject electrolyte updated successfully. Subject electrolyte updated successfully. And if I come back to this, you can see I've added this electrolyte, that is chem 202 with the teacher name, then this to be the pass mark, and this to be the final mark. This to be the final mark. Why? Because this system has already existed. So the next one I'm adding will be the one that will be added to the system. Then for the syllabus again, the admin will now be able to add the syllabus, so that anytime you have a course or a subject in the school, you have a teacher that is taking that subject, the teacher should be able to download this syllabus from his dashboard and be able to form his note based on those syllabus. Now, this is where you are going to manage all of those things. If I click on this add syllabus here, I will be able to import the syllabus title, the class of the syllabus. But before that, if you check this off, you see, please note, you must create a class, a section, subject name, and subject code before creating a syllabus. So the subject title will be the subject name that you input here. The title of the subject, you include it here. Then if you go to the class, just check this. This is what I'm explaining. That is, this is the title. You know, it's English, right? And the subject name is English Study. So that's what I was explaining, the title. You input the title here, you come and select the class, you also select the section, because for this, you must select a class before you'll be able to select a section. That's why you can see that the section, no option is coming. But the moment I decide to select SS1, I will now be able to select all the sections that I have under SS1. If I also select SS2, I will be able to select all the options under SS2. So I must select a class. If I go back to this select class, you can see it's telling me that what I should select class first before I will now be able to add the section. You will be able to click on this to add the material that you want to include for your syllabus, and also the subject name with the subject code for you to be able to work with, and you can also add some little description about the syllabus. So this is all the information that we are adding there: the English, the class, the section, subject name, the subject code, and this is the file you add. So the teacher will now be able to have access to this. The teacher will now be able to have access to this and download it and actually make their note based on that. If you want to view it, I can click on this to be able to view. You can see you'll be able to view. You check the class, the section, the subject name, the subject code, the description, and this is the syllabus file. You can see how to change a document, and the name of the file is in what? Is in TXT. Is in TXT. So if I want to edit and I come here and click on edit, you can see I will now be able to edit all of this information. Select, I'll change either from the subject, the syllabus title, I'll change maybe the class, I'll change the section, you change the subject name and the subject code, and you also change the description. And the moment you have done that, you just click on update. But if you still have the same information, you can see syllable name already exists, because no syllable will have the same name in the system. You will need to have more than one syllable name in the system, so that there should not be confliction in the syllable that you're actually adding for the system. Now this is the name of the file. How to change the document. You will be able to update this by clicking on this. If I click on update, you'll see please select a book to actually upload for the syllable, because I will not be able to upload this until I actually select a different file. So after that, the next one we have is the timetable. So to work with the timetable, if I click on the timetable here, you can see I have the timetable for the school. So this timetable, the students are also going to have access to it on their dashboard. The students are actually going to have access to this on their dashboard. So this is the dashboard for the teacher. If you go here, you can see this is the dashboard for the teacher, and this is also the dashboard for the student. And all these background images are actually going to be managed by the admin. All these background images are going to be managed by the admin, and this is the teacher page here. The moment you are a teacher, if you come to this place and you do not get this as showing on your dashboard for your login page, you should know that you are not in the teacher's page. If you also go here, if you're a student, you must get this to indicate that you are what? You are a student, for you to be able to log in with your details. Now, for the timetable, the students are going to have all of this in their dashboard. You will be able to create the timetable by clicking on add a timetable, and you select the class for you want to add the timetable. You select the section that you want to add the timetable, and you also come and choose the file for the timetable for you to be able to use. Now after everything is done, you just click on what? The add timetable. So you can see it's telling me that this field is required. After selecting the class, I need to select the section. After selecting the section, maybe social science, then I'll have to what? Add. You see, timetable added successfully. Timetable added successfully. And if you do that, you'll find out that the file is not there, right? The file is not there. The file is not there. Maybe peradventure you actually had to add and you have an error. So if you click on this download, you'll find out that what is going to download for you, you will not be able to have access to it. And if you want to confirm whether the file has been added successfully, if you click on this edit, you'll see here, oh sorry, no file found, because the file has not been added. No file found in the system, right? No file found in the system. So you need to add a file to the system before you will now be able to download the file. No file added to the system. Now from this page, the next one we have is the promotion page. The promotion page. So before you work with the promotion page, you actually need to read through all of this. You need to read through all of this for you to be able to understand how the promotion page works. So for the promotion page, if you check here, you'll see that we have student promotion, right? Student promotion. Now, view information to keep in mind before what? Promoting a student. If I also take my cursor to this, you can see only classes with student added are clickable on this. Only classes with student added are clickable. Now, if you check here, when promoting, what changes is the student class and the section name or the arm. You can edit individual student later in order to correct the section name. 2. We advise that you start promoting from the highest class. For example, you need to promote SS3 to a different class. You need to rename the new class if it is what? The highest class. Let's say if it is SS3, you need to take it to what? SS3 underscore 2021 underscore 2022. Right? This underscore should be there so that you should be able to know. Like this is what? SS3. They are finished from 2021, and what? The set is from what? 2021 to what? 2022. Before promoting SS2 to SS3, then SS1 to SS2, etc. You need to promote from the highest class to the lowest class. But before doing that, you need to create a special class for them, and you need to create a special section for them whereby you are going to include them. So that the moment you want to do the promotion, you will just promote them from this class to this other class. And any class lower than the highest class stay the same. That is, any class that is lower than the highest class is going to stay the same. Now, promotion does not affect students' score already uploaded. That is, scores remain intact. This is so that students who are no longer active in the class can still have access to their terminal report card for the previous class. Now, promotions are based on current academic year. They are based on current academic year. So if I am in 2025, I cannot promote the students that are not in 2025. So they should be based on the current academic year that I'm working with. So if I want to do that, I will have to come here and select the class. After selecting the class, maybe if there is a new class that the students have already created for them, then you also select the new class. Or if you want to change the new class name, you just click on this. That is, after you have already selected the class, let's say select the class to be SS1, maybe the new class, if it is here, then you also change the new class name. The moment I click on this, I can give them another new class name that I want to use, so that the name will just come here and I will just click on the promote student, and the students are automatically going to promote it to the highest class. That is all about the promotion. So after discussing about the promotion, the next one we have is the administrator. The moment I click on this administrator, you can see I have the reset password and also the system admin. So if I click on the reset password, it will take me to the reset password page for me to be able to reset my password as the admin or the super admin of the system. You also have the system admin. The system admin can only be viewed by the admin. The system admin can only be viewed by the super admin. That is, if you are a super admin, you will be able to view the system admin. So if I go here, go down here, you'll be able to add this. Maybe you want to have some other admins that can also manage the activity of the school. So you put their name, the username they will use to log in, the email address, the password, and the user type. You will select whether they are the admin or whether they are the super admin and add them to the system. Now, also please note, password must include one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, one special character, and the length should be between 6 to 16. If you go down here, you'll see I have this to be the admin. One of the admin, I'm working with it in the system. That is, the name should be this, the username is this, the email address is this, and the admin type. This is the admin type. The type of is admin, it's not a super admin. And I can also decide to delete the admin by clicking on this. The moment I click on this, I have taken out the admin. So I will be asked, deleting Adamu Bashir Adamu, deleting admin Bashir Adamu. That's the name. Deleting admin Bashir Adamu. You are about to delete Bashir Adamu from the system. This action will delete every detail of Bashir Adamu. Are you sure? If I click on this delete, it will delete this user automatically from having access as the admin. And if I just decide to click on the cancel, then I've already closed this page to cancel this option. Now the next one we also have under here is the exam and grade. So after selecting this exam, the moment I select this exam, you can see we have all the exam. It will be first time, second time, third time. You can only add this based on the section that you are. Maybe if it is first time, you add the first time. If it is second time, you add the second time. If it is the third time, you add the third time. And I'll click on the add exam. So the moment I click on the add exam, I'll select the exam name and also the exam date. That is the our school exam. You also select the date that you are actually creating this exam. The moment I do that, I will just click on this so that I should be able to know the date I created this first time exam or second time exam or third time exam. Now talking about the grade, if I also click on the grade, this is where I will be able to see all the entire grade I have for the system. If you want to add the grade, you will just come here and click on the add grade. So for the grade, you can see we have the grade name, the grade point, the mark from, the mark up to, the remark, and also the action. So these grades are actually what will come on the report card of the student. they are what is going to show on the report card of the student. So automatically you will be able to see this in form of the table, and the grade is going to be calculated automatically for the result of the student based on the grade you have actually set for the system. Now for any student that has a grade name of A+, the entire point for the grade is 100, and any student that got from 91 to 100, you are telling the remark that will show in the system for the student, that is the report card of the student, to be what? To be distinction. And if a student gets C+, the grade point is 70. So any student that got from 60 to 70, the remark is going to be merit, and you'll be able to edit and you'll be able to delete all of this information. These are going to be this information for the grading are the ones that are going to be used automatically on the student report card. Automatically on the student report card. If you want to add, you will just click on this add grade. You set the grade name, you set the grade point, you set the mark from, you set the mark up to, and you give the remark. The moment you finish that, you just click on add grade. Like you can see, I cannot submit this because all of this information are actually required. So these are the grade name, the grade point, the mark from, up to, and the destination. So that's what you'll be able to work with when you are dealing with the grade and this. So after discussing about the grade, the next one we have to discuss about is the mark. So if I go down here and I click on this mark, so you can see here to the same thing. If I want to add a mark, this is where I'm going to manage the entire marks of the system. If I click on add a mark, I'll be able to add mark to the system. If I click on this, I'll be able to see the total mark added for the system for all of the students in each of these classes. Now, if you also read this, please select a class to view the student mark. You can see only classes with the student added are clickable. So if I want to go and add a mark and I click on add mark, I'll have to come here and select the class of the student, select the exam type for the student. Is it first time exam, second time exam, or third time exam? If it is first time, I'll click on first time. What is the section of the student? Is it art class, science class, social science? I'll click. If it is art, I'll click on this. What is the subject that I want to add the mark for the student? If I click on this to be agri, so the moment I click on add, you can see no student found for the selected class. That is, there is no student found under the section for the art class, that is for the selected class. Now if I go back to the science class and I refresh and also click on this, you can see it will fetch the entire information for agri for this student, that is for SS1. You can see for SS1. So the moment I come back to this student page, you can see SS1, I have 5 students, right? Same thing to the mark. If you go to the mark, you'll be able to see that you have 5 students under this, right? 5 students available, right? So if I click on this, it will fetch all the entire 5 students for me, right? That is in SS1. If I want to add their mark, you just to come to this, select the subject, the class, you select the exam type, either first time, second time, you select their section, and you select the subject that you actually want to add the class for. After selecting that, you come and input. This is for second time, right? This is for second time. I want to work with the first time. If I click on this, I just change to mark. You can see examination is what? First time, and the section is science class, and the subject is agri. So, and the system is designed in such a way that you are going to fetch all the entire student in that class and input all their information. No need of opening each of the individual students' information to actually input. Even if a student actually got 0, you can decide to put that 0 and so that the result should not be blank. But any subject that the student is not doing in that class, let's assume a class whereby we have students that are offering IRS, and a class whereby we have students that are offering CRS. For those that are offering IRS, you only input their information when you are working with the IRS. While for those that are doing CRS, you only input their information. Take example of this. Now, if I go down here and I select, if I go down here and I decide to select Islamic religious study, and I fetch the student data, right? This is the mark detail, the class SS1, right? The section to be science class and the subject. Now, if you check here, right? This student, you said the student is what? 8, 7, 9, and 68, right? So for this student that is not doing anything, and decide to put first CA nothing, second CA nothing, and third CA nothing, just decide to leave it like this, and I submit. I submit. It's telling you automatically that this student is not offering this subject, right? The student is not offering this subject, and the score for this student is not going to appear on his or her report card. The ones that are only going to appear are the ones that they have the input value for that. The moment I click on this, you can see student score were updated successfully with the exam details. Now if I go back and select SS1, select the time, select the section to be science class, and also select the subject to be Islamic studies. Select the subject to be Islamic studies, and I click on mark and I fetch that detail. You can see the system will automatically bring this like, okay, 0000, right? And it will not show on the student report card. It will not show on the student report card. If I go to the CRS, and I also check and I fetch the data, if I fetch the data, you can see, so it's only this student that we do not put for the IRS. You can see they have this score, right? They have this score. So that means CRS is only going to show for the student, while IRS is going to show for this other student that they have their scores, So that is how to be able to add mark for both the admin and the teachers, because mostly the teachers will be able to work with this system to add the mark, while the admin, his own is to supervise the work of the teachers, whether the teachers are actually doing their work. And the moment you have your first CA, so just come and input the first CA, the second CA, the third CA, and also your exam. And the moment all of this information are inputted, automatically the student will be able to get his result within the short period of time, without taking much of the time for you to be able to do all those calculations for getting the average score, the percentage, and all of those necessary information to calculate in order to show on the student report card. The system is actually going to do all of these things. So before even adding the student mark, you can see that you need to create a class, the subject, exam, and section before creating the mark. If I want to go to the all mark page, I'll just click on this and I'll now be able to go to each of these options by clicking on them. So after explaining about the mark and the options that we all have for the mark, the next one we have here is the setting. If I go to this setting and click on general setting, so the admin will be able to set all of this information. So this is the function of the admin, like, okay, set the school name or the super admin, depending on who actually want to set this, for the school. And we can also decide to customize it for the school if they want, so that it's only going to be the super admin that can have access to this page, so that the admin will not be able to have access to check this page. It's just going to be the function of the super admin, so that it's only going to be the super admin that can have access to see the entire page, not the normal admin. So you will be able to set your school name here, you set your school tagline, you also set the phone number of the school, the email address of the school. So these are what we actually don't want school to change in the system. You don't change the email URL, and you don't also change the school website link, these two. So we are also urging the school to at least leave our footer information here, so that at least anybody actually seeing this, they will know that yes, they should give us the credit. This is just like our credit to know that yes, we are the ones that do this, and if they still want to bring more customers to us, we are always available, please. We want these three information not to be tampered with. These three information, that is the main URL of the school, the school website, and the footer. But all other information, you can be able to change it as regards to your school. This is the registration prefix that you're actually seeing on the student registration page. This OZMGES is the registration prefix. If I decide to go to the student here and I click on the Add Student page, you can see this registration prefix that is coming automatically, OZMGES. You will be able to change that from the setting. You should be able to change that from the setting and decide to use what prefix you want to use for your own school. You'll be able to change it here. You also include the number of times the school open. You include the principal name, and also the next time the school is going to open with the current school section. After that, you update the entire page, and that is all. Now, again, if you also want to work with the logo, if I click on this logo, view logo, this is our logo. This is our logo. We have already used our logo, so you'll be able to change your own logo by clicking on this. Just change a new logo. The moment you come here, you just decide to select the logo you want to change. After that, you just click on this logo. You can see the value is required. So you need to what? Select your own logo that is going to appear for the school. Below here again, we also have the manage login page background image settings. So the manage login page background image settings, if you check the admin login background, if I click on this, that is view admin BG image. This is the admin BG. So before actually logging into the system, if you check, you'll find out that I have this background image as the one for the admin. For the teacher background image, if you click on this view background image, if I go to the teacher's page, you can see this is the image we have for the teacher background login image. So you will be able to change that from the admin dashboard. And also for the student, if you click on this view student, you will be able to see this image, right? So if I go to the student page, this is the image that we have here for the student. So you should be able to change this for the respective login page for the teacher and the student, for as long as you are the admin working with the system. So if you want to update those images, you just come and click on this, change a new admin BG image, or change a new teacher BG image, or change a new student BG image. So also on the terminal report card, we also have the terminal report card background image. So if I click on this, this is like a kind of a watermark that is going to show on the report card. So any student printing on this will be at the center of their report card for them to be able to see. This is just a watermark for the school to indicate on the result. You can also decide to change that by clicking on this. And this will be the school stamp. If you have a school stamp, you will be able to include this school stamp. For these presentations that we have this image for the school stamp, so you should be able to change this to your own school. So that is how the general settings work. The next one we have is the position setting. So under the position setting, you will just be able to show the position on each of the classes, whether hidden or visible. This is SS1 class, this is the teacher name, this is the position visibility, whether it's visible or not, right? If you want to show the position on the report card, this is where you are going to change it. If you also want to search for the class, you just use this icon to search for the class. Now the position for SS1 report card is already hidden. I want to change it back to visible. So change to visible, visibility set to visible successful, right? So after that, the page is going to refresh and the position for the student on their report card is now visible. So any student that actually printed his report card, he is going to see his position on the report card anytime these options are visible for the respective classes. If you check here, this is manage position setting. That is, use this section to either show the student position or hide them on the terminal report for a particular class, So that is how the position setting actually work on the system. So after explaining the position setting page here, the next one we have is the pin management. The next one we have is the pin management. So if I click on this and I decide to show this, so we have the generate pin here, we have the view pin request, we have the set card usage limit, and we have the set card expire date. Now to generate a pin, if I click on this generate pin, this is where you are going to generate the pin that you are going to give to the student. And the maximum pin that you can generate at a go for the system is 100. The maximum pin you can generate at a go for a system is 100. If you have 150 students, you are expected to generate 100 first, and you will now generate the 50. If you have 300 students, you have to generate 100, 100, 100 3 times, right? So for our own system here, we design this to just take 100 pin generation at a go. So if you want to generate this pin, you have to input the number of the pin you want to generate. If I click on generate pin, you can see please enter a valid number between 1 to 100. You enter a valid number. If I also scroll down, you'll be able to see the number of pins that we have entirely. Right? You can also go to the next page for you to be able to see all of these pins. You can go to the next and previous. Currently, we have 18 pins. I will be able to check this with from my dashboard. You can see generated pin are 18 pins, right? So let's go and generate one pin again to make this pin to be 19. So if I go to the pin management and I click on generate pin, if I want to generate the pin, let's say I just want to generate one of the pin. Since I have 18, let's make it 19. So after adding one, I will just click on generate pin. The moment I click on generate pin, this is going to pop up a pay stack payment method. This is a pay stack payment method for me to be able to use to actually generate my pin. So in your own aspect, you are going to input your card details. So this is a test card. So if I'm using a test card, that one no issue. I don't need to input my card details, right? This is a test card, my own test card from my own dashboard using my API keys, right? So you can also decide to use the transfer, the bank, and USSD. But we encourage you to stick to at least the card and the transfer. But we also prefer you just to use the card. It's better, right? So that we should be able to also track the information as regards to maybe some of error in terms of the network that we might experience during this payment issue. Now, so the system, depending on how our negotiation is with you for your school. So for this, we actually decide to set it to be 800 Naira per pin generation. This is a test card, right? This is a test card. So in your own aspect, it depends on the negotiation we have for your school, where either you are using the e-result, because our e-result system is actually using 500 Naira per pin generation. Our complete school management without the CBT is 1,000 Naira per pin generation. While our complete school system with the CBT is actually using 1,500 Naira per pin generation per student, per pin generation per student, per pin generation per student. So now, since I'm using my test card, I can just go and click on this success, and the moment I click on success, you can see payment successful, verifying payment, please wait, and payment and pin generated successfully done. So it will be added here. You can see it will be added here. So this video was actually made on 29 February 2024, right? You can see this is the pin. So any student that want to check his results, that have not actually checked his result before or have not exhausted his pin, you will be able to give him this pin. And the moment a student have actually taken this pin, the status of the pin is going to go back to close, right? The status of the pin is going to go back to close. That means this pin cannot be used by another student anymore. The pin cannot be used by another student anymore. It's only going to be used by that student. So anytime the student wants to log in and check their result, they need a pin. And the moment you generate this pin, you are going to use this pin to assign to a specific student and give them. Now, for the view pin request, any requests that have already been checked by a student, you will be able to use this to check that. Now, if you check this, these are the pins. I have these pins that have already generated, and the date that these pins are issued to the student are actually the date that these pins were generated, right, with the expired date, the card usage, and the card availability. The card usage, this guy have already used this student, the student, sorry, not the guy, please. This student have already used this pin, that is 2 times, right? 2 times. So that's why we are having this. That's the student 5. That's why we are having this. Now student 2 have actually used their own pin, that is 5 times. So any student that have used the pin more than the expected pin number, because we set, depending on how you actually want to set the card usage pin to be, the maximum pin set usage we designed for the system is what? Is 8. The maximum pin set usage is 8 for the pin, not like WAEC and NICO that are actually 5 time usage for you to be able to check your pin. You can see this student 2 have actually exhausted this. So anytime a student have actually used his pin, you decide to close the status before issuing the student another pin. you will close the status before issuing the student another pin. So the moment I close this, you can see this one, the status is closed. Now I can assign another pin to this student, and he can be able to use that to check his result. You can be able to use that to check his result. You can also set the card usage limit. This is where you set the card usage limit, like set the number of the time a card can be used. If I click on this, it will ask me, please fill in the form. And the maximum number of time you can use is 8. And also the moment I decide to put 9 and I click on insert, I will get a warning. Number must be between 1 and 8, right? So if you want to set the card expiration date, you also come and set the card expiration date. When is the card going to expire, right? Set the card expiration date. Please note, set the date when the card is going to expire. That's why if you come to this view pin request, you'll be able to see the expiration date for the card to be 2024 on 12 and 1st of December 2024. That is how you'll be able to set the card usage limit. So after setting the card usage limit, the next option we have here is the report. This is where you are going to check the report card of the student. The moment I click on this, like this, please select a class, exam, and section to view the terminal report card of the student. If I also take my cursor to this, only student with scores added will be what? Displayed. Now if I go to SS1, and I go to first time, and I go to the science class, and I go to select the I'll select the A, and I said view students. So the moment I click on that, I will now be able to view all of the students. This is for the SS1, right? SS1 student is the student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, and student 8, right? If I want to view the result, if I click on this to view this result of the student of SS1, so it's fetching the result automatically in a PDF format. Now, this is the result sample, right? This is the result sample. Now, if you check here, we'll have the name of the school, that is the name that actually appear in the general settings. If we go to the general settings here, where we have this, and I click on the general setting, this is the name of the school, OZ Madugo General Enterprise. That is what is actually here at the top. The motto, a better choice is now. If you come here, you will see that. You also have the website. This is it. That is what you have here. That is what you have here, right? The school website. Now, the name, the address of the school, the suite number 5, Abaji Market, Abato. If you come here, you will be able to see the address of the school. If I go down here, you will see the address. This is the address, right? This is the address of the school. The next one we have is the phone number of the school, 47008705. If you go here, you'll be able to get this. This is the phone number of the school. You'll set all of this information to be your own. Also, the email address of the school. They will have the student name, the year, the class, the section of the student, and the time. Then we have the mark obtainable. The mark that you actually set for the student to get entirely, because this is actually going to calculate the entire mark that is expected for the student to get. Then the gender is the male. The date of birth is May 8, 1996. Then the registration number should be OZMGES, like 2024_1528. This is the automatic generated registration number for the student. Now, under the subject, these are the subjects that the student offer with the CAs and the exam. The subject will have the agri, the anatomy and physiology, the chemistry, and these are their grades: the first CA, second CA, the third CA, the exam, and the total score. The total score for the first CA, second CA, and the third CA. So you can see the grade. So we have the total score is 89. So any student that got 89 from so-so value to so-so value, the grade is what? Is A, and is what? Is excellent. Going down here to the report card, this is what I'm talking about, the grade. If you actually check here, the student actually got 89. So if I come to this table, if I check down here where I have 86 to 90 A, right? 86 to 90 is A. So any student that got from 86 to 90, the remark is going to be what? Is going to be A, excellent. Any student that got 65, that is C plus, merit. If I come to this table again and I check, I have C plus. Any student that got from 60 to 70 is what? Is C+. Now this is the percentage of the score entirely for this student, and the system actually grade this student to be the first in the class, right? Now the class teacher name is here, the class teacher comment is here, the principal comment is here, and the principal name is also here. If you go down, you'll be able to see the result analysis, whether the student has passed or not. You also check the percentage. Based on this percentage, that's why the student passed. And if you also check here, this is the stamp of the school, and you have the information when the result was actually printed. This result was generated on February 29, 2024 at exactly 3:45 p.m., right? Exactly 3:45 p.m. So if I go up here and I go to position settings and I decide to change this to be hidden, right? If I go back to this report card and I actually refresh this page for the student that I'm checking, you can see this first position now will not be there. That space should be blank. That space should be blank. If I go, you can see no space, everything is blank here, right? Everything is blank for the student. I will not be able to see any information for the student. Now the other sample of the report card that we also have is for the student. Go to terminal report card, same as S1, and also come to first time, let's say science class and 2024. If I click on this first student and I go to the student 2 and I try to fetch the report card, if you check here, you can see we have this. Sorry, we have this to be with what? With the background of red, right? So this is actually telling us that the student did not actually get the 50 mark percentage, right? And from the table that we have for our grading system, we said, okay, if the student have from 40 to 49 is D, that is pass. And the pass mark for the subject for chemistry was actually set to be 50. So that's why you are seeing this background to be red for this particular student. So that is how the entire result system work for the page if you actually want to fetch the student report card. So after explaining about the library, the next action we have here to explain about is after explaining about the terminal report, the next one to discuss about is the school library. So if I click on this school library, this is where the admin will be able to add the library material for the student and also the teacher for them to be able to access on their dashboard. So the admin will be able to add the book title, the author of the title, the class, the section that the textbook is actually meant for, and the subject name with the subject code, and also the downloadable file name with the date that this material was actually uploaded. And you can decide to view by clicking on this. I can edit this and also I can delete. If I want to add the library, the moment I come, you can add the book title, you add the class, you add the file by clicking on this, you select the section, the subject name, the subject code, the author of the book, and also some little description about the book that you actually want to upload as regards to the library textbook for the students to be able to download, or the teachers. Right? So with this system again, is actually giving you that permission for you to be able to get books online. And this system will not allow the book to be accessed or to be used by any other individual outside the school. It's only restricted to a login user in the system, right? A user that is already registered in the system. It's not an open book system whereby everybody can just go and download and use. So it's strictly restricted to your school. It's strictly restricted. So you can check here before adding the library. Please note, you must create a class, a section, subject name, and subject code before creating your library. So after doing all of these things, you will just click on the add library. And the moment you add everything, you should be refreshed back to this page whereby you have all of this. And you'll be able to download this, and even the teachers and the students will have access to download the library material. So apart from that, the next one we have is the exam question paper. So if I go down and click on this question paper, so the exam question paper is where the teachers, because the teachers are going to submit this, and as the admin, you are going to get this in your admin dashboard. So teachers are going to submit their own question paper. The moment they submit their own question paper, as the admin, you will be able to see the question paper that the teacher submitted, with the subject and every other thing. Then you can also change the status after going through the question paper, whether the question is actually what you want in the school, like maybe it's actually met the requirement of the question. You can see the teacher name, the class of the teacher, the section, the subject name, the subject code, the description for the exam question. Maybe there should be a description that maybe the teacher want to add when submitting this question, and the status you will be able to see. So, and this status can only be managed by the super admin. So if you want your own to be able to be managed by just the admin, you should also inform us. We'll be able to customize all of these things for you. So as a super admin, you should be able to see this option to either approve the question or to either reject the question. If you click on this positive plus icon here, you'll be able to get the file name for you to be able to download as the admin. So after getting the file name, you will go through the exam question that the teacher submitted to the school, and if this question is actually okay, it met the requirement, then you will just come back here and change the status. If I click on approve or reject status and I decide to change the status to what? Accept, right? So your question was approved successfully. Question was approved successfully. So after that, I will just click on submit. Status was updated successfully and redirecting. So you can see the status has automatically changed to what? To approve. So from the teacher's end, the teacher is going to get this message and he's going to get this reply too. Your question was approved successfully in his own dashboard where he actually upload this question. And if you want to submit the question, this is where you'll be able to, the same method of how we actually show in the admin dashboard, the same way the teacher is also going to use to add his own question paper. So as a teacher, you only get your own name here. You will not get other teachers' name. You only get your own class that you are assigned to. You only get your section after selecting your class. You choose your file, you select the subject and the subject code and the description, then you submit your question. The moment you submit the question, it will automatically come to the admin dashboard, and the admin is now going to see it, and he will be able to give you all the necessary information you needed for the status and the reply for you to be able to see as a teacher. So after explaining the exam question paper, we will now discuss about the CBT. So this CBT was actually another development that was added to the system to actually separate the complete school system without the CBT and the complete school system with the CBT. So the complete system, this complete school system without the CBT, we have all the necessary things that we have already discussed and the ones we have below here, with the exemption of only the CBT, But for the e-result, there are some informations that were not used in the e-result, of which if you have an e-result system, so you will not be able to get them. You will not be talking about the school library, the communication system, and some other aspects that we have already discussed before. But the complete school management system, we have everything with only the exemption of the CBT. With only the exemption for the CBT. We also have another complete school management system with the CBT. We also have the school management system are categorized into two, the one with the CBT and the one without the CBT system. So the CBT system is included for you to be able to set a computer-based test for your students, and they can only take that CBT test only once. So this is actually added to ease the school system management, so that the moment you assign a CBT test, just like some of the general courses you are doing in the school, just like some English courses that are actually general in the school, you can decide to make it to be a CBT. Talking about the universities whereby they run GNS and some general school courses, so they will be able to use that, maybe some general departmental courses for all the engineering department, depending on how they actually want to manage the system whereby they have so much students. So based on that, you can decide to set up a CBT system for them, and with that you will be able to get their score. And this will also going to reduce the cost of printing of the papers that you are going to use in setting up the questions for them and for them to be able to answer. So the student can just take the CBT exam and that's all. You'll be able to get their score and include in the system, or either the first CA or the second CA or the third CA. And that's why if you actually look the prices are not the same for the system. Now, they're talking about the CBT system. If I go to the CBT exam, so this is where I'm going to add the entire CBT exam. You can see here we have the class, the section, the subject name, the subject code, the description, the time for the question, and you also want to view the question that is assigned to this subject, right? And the date. You can also delete the CBT exam, and you can also edit the CBT exam, the edit and also the delete. If I want to create a CBT system, this is where you are going to create the CBT system. This is Art School CBT exam. For you to be able to add the CBT, you must create a class, the section, the subject name, and the subject code before creating the CBT exam. Now, if I select the class, you select, after selecting the class, you also select the section, maybe the social science. You select the subject that you actually want to make the CBT for. You also select the subject code. The moment you click on this, you will just select maybe chemistry, chem 101, and the time you are going to set for the system, the maximum time you can set for this system is 99 minutes. 99 minutes, starting from 01, not just 1. If I use 1, I will not be able to do that. So, testing CBT exam creation for chemistry. If you have any instruction, this is where you are going to input the instruction for the CBT exam. If you have any instruction under this description, you are going to input it here. You are going to input it here, chemistry. So after that, if I click on 1, it's not going to submit because I needed at least 2 values. I can use 01 or I can use 99. So if you check this placeholder, you can see enter the time in minutes from 01, this in minutes, to 99 minutes, right? To 99 minutes. If it is 1 minute you want to set for the exam, you just click on 01 to add automatically, or the 99. If I want to add this, I'll just see CBT exam chemistry added successfully and redirecting. So I have automatically created this. You can see this is the chemistry for social science class, Chem 101, and this is it. So currently, if I click on this view question here, I don't have any question. You can see no question found for the provided CBT exam and subject name. If I click on previous, nothing. If I also click on next, nothing, right? So I will just go to the CBT exam again. Now for this one that I have, the English studies that I have time to be one minute, right? If I click on this view question here, I will be able to see the entire question. You can see the subject name English, the subject code ENG 101. This is the question 1. What is a pronoun? And these are the options, like is a word used instead of a noun, or is a word used as a word, or is a word, or is a phrase. So all of these, and the correct answer is a word used instead of a noun. The second question is this for this. If I also click on next, I will not get anything. No question found for the CBT provided exam and the subject. That is in the next page, right? Because you only have it in this page. So after that, you will just go back to the all CBT exam. So after creating the CBT exam, if I go to the CBT exam question, this is where you are going to create the question. You can see, right? We already have some questions here already created for the previous CBT exam we actually created. Now this is Add CBT exam question. If I click on Add CBT exam question, I will come here and select the exam type. This is English, right? You can see, and general mathematics, you can see, and chemistry, right? So if it is for the chemistry that we just created, right, you will just input your question and you also select your option, right? So, but we already have some questions that we have for the English and for the general math, right? So if I go back to all CBT exam question, you'll be able to see all of this. If I go to the view question for this, you'll be able to see this, right? You can see the exam is General Mathematics 101. The question is 2 plus 1. And what is the correct answer you actually select is correct, right? Anyone that is the correct answer, you actually click to be the correct answer. That is, if you are creating the question, the moment you have anyone that is correct, you just click on this is correct and you add your CBT question and automatically it will be added. Let's assume I just want to take the CBT. What question will I just ask for? Chemistry. Okay. Let me add a normal question like, okay, let's say 5 times 2 in our chemistry. Let's just say 10 here. Let's say 15 here. Let's say 20 and let's say 25. Now if I just select the 5 times 2 to be 10 for this, or let's say 5 times 1, let's take this option to be 5 times 1 to be 5, right? So the correct answer is this, right? Is correct, right? The correct answer is this, 5 times 1, 5. And the moment I click on add CBT, you can see CBT exam question added successfully, right? The question has already been added successfully. So now if I go back to the CBT exam here, that is this CBT exam that we created, and if I click on this chemistry, you can see we have one question here, right? The chemistry, the subject code, and the minute is 1. And this is the question I just added, and the correct answer we said is 5. Even if I go on next, I will not get any other question again under this. So that is what that is telling us. Now, if I decide to go back again to assign CBT exam, this is where you are going to assign the CBT exam. So after creating the exam, you create the question, you come to the assign, right? For the assign, you just click on the exam type, select the exam that you want to assign to the student. You will now select the student that you want to assign that exam to, right? If I want to assign chemistry now to student 2, right? This is the chemistry. Let's say I want to assign it to student 2. Assign CBT exam. You can see CBT exam assigned successfully, right? I've already assigned the CBT exam to student 2. While student 1, I have English studies and general mathematics. If you also want to view the question under the assign, I can click on this. You can see you'll be able to view the question. If I go to all CBT exam, I should be directed to all CBT exam page. After assigning, if you come to this result, you can see we have no result. So anytime a student actually take their CBT exams, anytime any student have already decided to take they take their CBT exam, any student that take any CBT exam, you'll be able to get the data of the students here. That's why you're getting no result, because no any of the CBT exam has already been taken, right? So after explaining about the CBT, the assigning CBT, and another aspect of the CBT, the next one we have is the communication. If I go to the communication, starting with the mail, if I click on mail, with this, you will be able to send mail to teachers, or you'll be able to send mail to students. Now, if I click on this mail, I said mail teacher or what? Mail student. I should be able to select anyone. If I want to mail the teacher, I can add more than one teachers, right? I can add more than one teachers to actually send them a mail at a time, right? Maybe if you have a meeting or you have some discussions with your staff, at least the teachers, you'll be able to reach out to them by using this email option here. Now on the subject, like meeting reminder, maybe after discussing about a meeting, you can have a meeting reminder. Let's say I want to inform you about I want to remind you about the meeting. Remind you about the meeting discussion we had few days ago, right? So after that, I will just click on send mail. The moment I click on send mail, I should wait for my mail to be sent. Still loading. You can see email sent successfully, right? Email sent successfully. Now if I go back to the mail, I have one of the mail that actually registered here. That is for the adamobashir11@gmail.com. I'm currently in the mail. So let me refresh this page. Still waiting. It looks like it's not picking, maybe the network. Let me refresh the page. Loading. Oh yeah, I think it has refreshed. Yes, the mail has arrived. You can see OZ Madugu result system, right? If I click to open this, you can see meeting reminder from what? OZ Madugu result system, right? I want to remind you about the meeting discussion we had few days ago, right? You can see the time this mail arrived, 3:34, and it's what? 0 minutes ago, right? 0 minutes ago. That is how to send mail with the system. That's how to. You can also decide to select student and also mail the student Now I'm talking about the leave again. We also have the leave. Now for the super admin, super admin will be the one to either approve the leave or to reject the leave. For normal admin, the way we design it for this system, they should not be able to approve or reject the leave. They can only be able to see the leave, right? This is the leave request for teacher 1. This is for teacher 1. This is also for teacher 3, right? For the leave of teacher 1, we have one that is approved and one that is rejected, right? This is the leave for teacher 3. You can just decide to go and change this status, because if you click on this, I want to read the leave, right? You can click on this icon here. And this is the description of the leave. I seek permission to go for my what? For my study leave. That is for teacher 1. For teacher 3, testing parental leave request, right? For teacher 1, if I go here, please, I will be going on my annual leave to enable me follow the standard of work and rest. Thank you, right? So you can see this one was approved, right? You can also see the created date when this leave was actually created on the 10th of 2nd, 2024, right? And this one was actually rejected. If you can also check the date when this leave was sent to you. So now let's just approve this leave for teacher 3. It's pending and I want to say accept, right? Now your leave is approved. The leave is approved. Approved. So now, the moment I click on this submit, leave status updated successfully and redirecting, right? Now it has approved. The status has changed to what? Approved, right? Approved status. Now this is the status. Your leave is approved. So from the teacher's end, they are going to get this information that their leave has been approved. Their leave has already been. So after discussing about the leave, the next one we have is the report card comment and also the manage attendance. For the report card comment, the same thing, just like manage report card comment. Please select a class to view the student comment, right? If I click only classes with comment are clickable. This one, no comment in SS3. Even if I click, no comment. If I click SS2, no comment, but SS1, I have 4 students, right? For adding a comment, the same thing that the teachers are also going to do in adding their comment. Just come to the comment option where they only get that comment, add comment there. So they will select the class, maybe SS1. Sorry, they will select the exam, they will select the section, and they will also select the year. If they want to add a comment, just come and fetch, right? So you can see there is no comment on this, right? And this does not actually fetch the information that we have for the student for their mark obtained, because those information were not actually inputted for the first time, but for the first time those information are there, right? If you check down here, you can see this is the second time the mark obtained for these students, all their scores have not been inputted, right? That is why you are getting that. But for the first time, if I click on add comment, you'll be able to see their mark, right? You can see all of this because we have already inputted all their scores, right? So the moment you have this, you'll be able to get this information like class SS1, examination time, first time, section, science class, the year, and the maximum length for comment. You get this to be what? To be 60. And the mark obtained for this student, you'll be able to see, and the mark obtained for the second student, third continuously, and you should be able to add the comment for them. You can see the student 8 here does not have a comment, so what I will just do, I can just type something like, okay, maybe good results, and the principal comment, I can also decide to add well done, just like we have for these up ones here. You can just add well done. The moment I add that, I will just click on the add comment, and you can see comment detail updated successfully and comment detail inserted successfully. So anytime you want to add the comment, that is where you are going to add the comment for the student, right? If I want to fetch the student details for the comment again, I will just come to what? SS1. You can see I now have 5 comments that I've added, right? You can see the student name, the class, the section, the exam year, the teacher's comment, and this is the principal comment. And you should be able to delete this comment for each of the students. Now, if I decide to go and delete this comment for student 8, deleting comment for student 8, you are about to delete the comment for student 8. Are you sure this action can? I say yes, delete comment. And when I do that, comment deleted successfully. And if I go here for the student 8, the system has refreshed. I can see that I only have 4 comments, right? If I click down here, I will not have information for the student 8 below here again. And if I also go to the add comment, the comment for that student, the comment box there is going to be empty. The comment box for the student is going to be empty. Now select and click on add comment. The moment it fetch and I go down again, you can see this is the student 8, right? And the comment is already empty here. No comment has already been added again because I have deleted the comment of that student. If I still want to update it, it's still same place I'll come. I will just go to the add comment and I import the information, and that is all. It has updated. I don't need to delete before coming to add. I can just come back and access this and update what I want to do. After that, I will just click on this and it will already automatically update itself. So the next one we have is the manage attendance. So if you check here, you can see please select a class to view the student attendance. MB only classes with attendance are clickable. SS1 no attendance, SS2 no attendance, SS3 no attendance. If I want to add attendance for this, as the admin I can access all the classes, but each of the teachers will only have access to access their own students in their specific class, their own student in their specific class. So if I want to add attendance for this student, I will just say add attendance. I'll just say add attendance. So that's why if you check the student, you can see the attendance is empty, right? The attendance is empty, right? Times is just times, but the details for the attendance is not available, right? And it's expected that number of schools should open 70 times, right? But now no attendance information for the student. So now I will fetch the student information and I will just decide to add attendance. I can decide to put 70. Since the school is expected to open 70 times, I am using 70. So assume that the student did not actually miss any class. After that, I will add my attendance. And you can see attendance detail inserted successfully, right? Attendance detail inserted successfully. If I go back and refresh this student report card, I should be able to get the attendance for the students now, right? After refreshing, and I go down, you can see I added 70, and there are 70 times of the attendance has already been added to the student. Also here, if you check here for this student too, no attendance has been added for that specific class because we are working with SS1. If I also refresh the page, it automatically add the attendance to student 2. Automatically add the attendance to student 2. Fetching the report card. If I go down, you can see also 70 times I added for this student, and you have that to show. And that is how to add the attendance for the student. Entirely, that is how the overview of the complete school management system work for the admin dashboard. So in our next video, we'll be talking about the teacher dashboard. After the teacher's dashboard, we'll also be discussing about the student dashboard. But one thing I want you to understand is some of the things that we have already explained in the admin dashboard. That is how it actually works in the teacher's dashboard. So I'll quickly go to the teacher's dashboard and log in so that we should access the teacher's dashboard. So let's go to the teacher's dashboard. You can see the pin created for the admin. You can see it was 19 now. Before it was actually 18, right? So this is the teacher's dashboard. I want to log in as a teacher. So I'll input the teacher's information. I input the teacher's information. After inputting the teacher's information, I'll come back here to input the password. If I click on this sign in, I use wrong username or password, right? If I want to check the password, I will just click on this to check the password, right? If I want to clear this, I will clear this. Then if I forget the number for your school, now I'll sign in. You can see log in successful, redirecting to account dashboard. So now this is the teacher 1, and the specific class assigned to teacher 1 is this, and this is the student entirely for the school, and the section entirely for the school, and the section assigned, and also the subject that is being offered. The teachers, all the teachers and all the leave will have here, right? Now if we go to the students, you can see you only have 5 students. The only the student that are attached to his class, you only have access. Please select a class to view available student. And this is the only class that you see because he is only assigned to SS1. And if you want to add a student, teacher can still come and add a student. The teacher can still come and add a student. If the admin or the school owner actually tell the teacher, okay, I'll be sending a student to your class. I want you to add the student. So the teacher should be able to add the student. But even after adding the student, there are some of the information that the teacher cannot do about the student, because if you come to edit the student after adding all of the necessary information, so the teacher can be able to do all of these things to change his or her own information, right? This is to change his or her own information for the student, right? This is the student. The teacher should be able to do all of this information specifically for the student in order to reduce the work for the admin. Now if I go to the teacher's page, the teacher can only see all the teachers they have in the school and also information about the teachers, right? Maybe as a colleague, you need to have information about your colleagues so that if you want to reach out to them, you can quickly reach out to them. Also under the academic, this is the class. The teacher can only see the class he's assigned to. That is all. He cannot add a class, he cannot edit, he cannot delete the class. Under the section again, the teacher can only see the section he's also assigned to, right? You can see he's only assigned to 3 sections here, right? After clicking on this, these are the sections that he's assigned to. Science class, social science and art class, and the capacity and the teacher, this is what he's actually assigned to. Also the subject, if you also click on this subject, SS1, right, since he's the class teacher of the SS1, he should be able to see all of this, and you can have more than one teacher taking SS1. You can see this is SS2 taking IRS, and this is teacher 2 taking IRS, and teacher 3 taking CRS. So all of this information will be able to see by the teacher, but the teacher cannot edit, he cannot delete any of this information. Also the syllable, the teacher can be able to see the syllable that you actually added in the school for him to be able to download and create his material based on the syllable. But they cannot edit the syllable, they cannot delete it. Same thing with the library, the teacher can only have access to see all the library textbooks that you have to also download and read through. You can also view it, but they cannot be able to, sorry, we did not create this page. So the teacher can only download this. They can only download and they will get the date. You can only download it. And the timetable, the teacher will only have access to view the timetable. You can download the timetable for the classes so that you should know whether you are taking this class or not. Teachers have access to the entire timetable of the school. Now if the teacher want to add a mark to the specific student is assigned to, you will just go to the mark page. The moment I click on this mark page here, I'm currently at the mark. So inside this mark page, this is what the teacher can only do. You can only add mark for the subject and classes you are teaching, right? You cannot add mark or subject for any of the classes. Now if I go to add mark, I will select the class. You can see here he has option to only take one class because he's assigned only one class. It's only the admin that have functionality of all of the classes. I also select the time, and he is also going to select the section and also the subject. So this teacher will be able to add the mark for his student. You can see, right? The teacher will be able to add mark for this student in this class because this is the class the teacher is actually managing. You input the first CA of the student, you input the second CA of the student, you input the third CA, you also input the exam. And after that, you just click on this add mark. So ease the activity of the teacher. To ease the activity of the teacher, the moment the teacher actually set a test for the student and he has marked the test, anytime he has a first CA, you can come and input your first CA, right? After inputting your first CA, you just click on the add mark and it will add the mark automatically. Now after the second CA again, you can still come back and do the same thing, right? Select the time, select the section, and also select the subject. After that, you will still fetch and also input the second CA. Then after the third CA again, you still come back and input the third CA. This one, you are not opening each of the student information separately. You are fetching and inputting all of this information for the student. Even if you made a mistake in inputting a data of the student, you still follow the same route to come back and also add the student details here. You are going to fetch all of them at a time and input. So anytime you are putting this information, automatically the system is actually working with the information to be able to calculate the position and the score of the student automatically without you doing any extra work. Both the percentage score and every other thing, the position will be done by the system automatically. This will actually ease the activity and the work of the teacher. So the moment you have done that, the next one we have is the general setting. So a teacher can come and change some of his information. Talking about his phone number, he can decide to change his email address. Maybe if the phone number got lost or spoiled or maybe changed, he can decide to change his phone number. He can also decide to change his email address, his religion, the date of birth, but he cannot change his username. He can't change. After that, he can just click on the update to update his profile. Now the page is going to refresh and it will still remain in that page. So it will not take you to any other page. Now again, the teacher can also update his photo, right? The view logo. If you want to view your own photo, the teacher can be able to view his photo, right? And you can be able to change your photo by clicking on this option. Now this is the report card comment where the teacher is going to add comment. And you can see it's only assigned to SS1 and the teacher can only fix the comment for the SS1 student, right? Please select a class to view the comment, to view the student's comment. Now, if I click on SS1, right, I am already going to view the entire comment, just like we have shown in the admin dashboard here. You will be able to see that for the SS1, we have 4 comments currently, right? You can also delete and you can also add. So if I go to add comment, we have 5 students in this class. Please note, you need to add the exam scores for the student before adding comment, right? So if I go to SS1, the first time, and go to science class, also come and select the year, and I click on add comment. You can see this other 5th one here, that we don't have any other thing, right? Just like we did in the admin, let's just come here and add, and I also copy this well done, and also add. The moment I do that, I'll just click on add comment for that specific student. You can see comment detail updated successfully for that specific student. Now if I go back to the comment section here and I click on this and I go to first time and I also go to science class and also select the year. If I go down and click on the add comment, you can see the comment has already been added automatically, and this comment is going to show in the student report card. Now after explaining about this comment section, the next one we have is the question paper. So this is where the teacher is going to submit his question paper, and you can see from the admin dashboard where we have the approved, right? Description for exam question. This is the description whereby the teacher actually input this. This is the teacher, the class, the section, the general mathematics for the subject, the code for the subject, the description, right? and they approve, right? And also your question was what? Approved successfully. You can also download your question after submitting it. And the moment I click on this positive icon here, the plus sign, you should be able to see the date when this question was actually submitted for the admin. You can edit your question because you are the one that actually submitted the question. You can update these descriptions and you cannot submit the same subject at a time, right, with the same code. That's why you are saying this, right? Subject general mathematics already exists, right? General mathematics already exists. General mathematics already exists. So the moment you have already sent the question, the only way you will be able to do all of these things is for you to actually maybe change the subject code so that it should not be the same. You can see exam question paper general mathematics updated successfully, right? So after that, the moment I change the subject code, I will now be able to change that, and I can still come back and now change it back because it's using the same subject code, right? So I can now change it back and have access to change any of this information here. Now, you can also download and you can also delete your question paper. The manage attendance, the same thing, you are going to manage attendance. You can delete the attendance of a student, and you can also decide to add attendance of a student by clicking on this. I also fetch the student, class of the student, you fetch the exam of the student, you fetch the section of the student, and you also fetch the exam year for the student and click on add attendance. This is going to fetch the entire attendance page for the student, whereby you'll be able to input all of this. The moment you have finished all of this, you also submit, and the attendance for the student in your own particular class is automatically added successfully. So after inputting the attendance, the next option we have here is the request leave. So the moment I click on this request leave, I can see I can come and fetch the leave I actually sent, right? I can come and fetch the leave. This is, under the leave for the admin dashboard. If I go to the admin dashboard and I go down to leave, if I go to leave, that is under the communication aspect. If I go to leave, you can see we have teacher 1 having what? 2 leave, right? 1 is rejected and 1 is what? Approved. That is what you also have here. 1 is rejected and 1 is approved. And the description of the leave, I seek permission to go for my study leave. If I go to this other one, check this leave for the, I seek permission to go for my study leave from the admin dashboard. And this is coming back to the teacher's dashboard. You can see the status is what? Is rejected, right? Now, if I go and change this status to be approved, the teacher is also going to get an approved message here for this message. That is for the study leave. Now, if I go to as the admin and I decide to change this status and I say, okay, your leave has been approved. Your leave has been approved. Now, if I click on submit, like leave status updated successfully, right? So it will refresh. Now I have all the leaves, right? Even this one that was actually rejected for the study leave for the teacher. Now if I come back and I refresh this page, right, you can see the leave for the teacher is now automatically approved, right? The I seek permission to go for the leave, right? And you can see the message, the reply by the admin, your leave has been approved, right? Your leave has been approved. So that is the entire aspect for the teacher's dashboard. That is the entire aspect of the teacher's dashboard. Now the next one we also have is the student dashboard. Now this is the student dashboard. I'll quickly log into the student dashboard. This art and also S the letter, and I input the details. If I also input wrong information for the student, you can see wrong username and password. After that, if you put all of this information correctly, then after that you will just click on the sign in, and I'm logging in to the dashboard successfully as the student. So we are now in the student dashboard. So after logging to the student dashboard, you can see your card usage limit, right? You should be able to see the card usage limit. Currently, our card usage limit is not set here. If I go back to the admin dashboard and I say, okay, going back to the pin management and I click on set card usage limit. No, I do not have any card usage limit set. I'll just decide to input 5 and I click on this. You can see limit inserted successfully and it's 5. It has refreshed, right? If you want to update, you can see update it, and the maximum you can use is just 5. Now coming back to the student dashboard, if I refresh this dashboard, I can see my card usage limits to be 5, right? I've already the January 1st, 1970, that is the expiration date for this card, and I can decide to go and change the expiration date. If I go to the card expiration date here, because the date was not actually set, that's why you are seeing this. I actually deleted the data for the system some times ago, that's why. So after that, if I'm okay with this to be 29/12 or 31st, let's say 31st/12/2024, and I click on this card expiration date inserted successfully, it's going to refresh, and I've already added the card expiration date automatically. If I go back to the student dashboard and I also refresh, you can see December 31st, 2024. I've already used one of the card before, that's why you can see the total card usage to be 1, and active card here is what? Is 0, right? Active card is 0, so no current active card. Now, if I go down here, I have the library, so the student will be able to go to the library, download any material and read through. These are all the book title, the author, the class, the section, the subject name, the code, and the file name for the student to download under the library. So under the timetable, the student will be able to have access to download the timetable in their dashboard. So if the school cannot actually paste the timetable on the board, on their notice board, they can tell the student, everybody go to your dashboard and go and download your timetable. Download the timetable and you check the timetable and the subject teacher that should come and take you for the respective subject you have on the timetable. Now, if you also want to check the result, if you click on this check result, so for you to be able to check your result, you will be able to have the card pin number, that is, and also the generated pin, and also the exam year with the exam. Now, this is the generated pin. If I want to check the result for this student, I have generated pin. You have to use this generated pin to check the result for the student. So currently you will not be able to copy any of these things. You have to input it manually, because I decided to set the system so that you should not be able to copy it, due to the fact that I'm also working with the CBT to prevent students from copying the question and inputting from one browser to the other, right, in order to prevent exam malpractice. So here for the generated pin is 96148, right? 96148, 96148. Then for the pin, we'll go to the admin dashboard and check our view pin request. Do we have any pin request by any student from this? The student 1 have exhausted the 5 times. Student 2 also exhausted, right? So that means I need to assign a new pin, because you must close this before you assign another pin to the student, right? So I need to go and get a pin and assign to this student. Now this is the pin, right? So I can't copy this, but let me just get the number. 6314, sorry please. I'll attach it here at the top of the browser and I'll copy it there, because I prevent copying entirely in the system. Now I have 6314 296 590. So this is the pin that we just generated today, to be 29 February 2024, right? So I'm going to use that pin and paste here, right? After pasting, I'll select this exam year for the student, and I'll also select the time, right? Is it first time, second time, or third time? And you can see your card expiration date is here, right? If I click on check results, you can see we are fetching result. Please wait, right? It's loading. Now it will redirect me to this page whereby I will check the student result, right? Now this is the user ID for the student, the name of the student, the exam year for the student, and the exam term for the student, right? If I decide to click on this view result, I should be able to be redirected to the student result. You can see generating now terminal report, getting that automatically. I have fetched the student result, right? I have fetched the student result. I have fetched the student result and getting the teacher name, and the position was not actually showing. So here, why you are not actually seeing this image is because we have actually removed the image from the student page here. That's why you are not seeing this image. But every student image you show, so even if the student image is not showing, you still have the report card for the student and no error is displaying. You can see here the position of the student is not showing, right? So if I go back to the, and I refresh this page, since I've already taken a pin, you can see the status of this pin that we generated today is now closed, right? So no any other student will be able to use this. If I go back to view pin request, you will be able to see that the student one have already been assigned another pin, right? And the card usage limit is just 1, right? So that is how to check all of this for the student. That's how to check this for the student. If I also go to the settings and decide to show the position for the class, and I refresh this page to change this status to visibility, right? And I go back to the report card of the student and I decide to refresh the page. I say continue and I decide to refresh the page. You will find out that automatically the student position is going to come up, right? The student position is going to come up. This is the student position automatically displayed. The same thing we have in the admin dashboard, the same thing you're also going to get here. It's like the school name, the logo. So here is just because we actually take that out from the system. That's why you are not getting the student photo here. But in your own aspect, is going to be resolved. So that is how to check the result by the student. So after checking the result by the student, the next thing we have here is the contact admin. Let's say the student actually forgot his password. So you see the admin, the password for your school admin. You'll be able to get this information from your school admin to be able to change all of this. So this will be shown for you as a student in your dashboard for you to be able to call your school admin if you actually forget your one or two things as regards to your checking of result. You'll be able to call the school admin and they should be able to guide you on that. Now the CBT exam, this is where you'll be able to take the CBT exam. But before talking about the CBT exam, we'll have the settings here whereby the student can actually change their password, right? So for a student to change the password, they need to have the old password and they need to have the new password. Let's assume I just want to use 1 to 8 and also another password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and let's say these other passwords should be this, right? And we're talking about the uppercase. Let's say student 001 at, right? We know the first one, we don't know the right password, right? And the second one, we actually follow all of these precautions here, talking about the password, uppercase, lowercase, and all the necessary things, right? And you can also decide to show your password and also decide to hide it. After that, I can click on the change password. If I click on the change password, you can see old password is wrong, right? The old password is wrong, so I need to input the old password to be right, and also the new password must be right. So if I decide to use the same password for both old and new, and I click on this change password, the moment I click, you cannot use the same password, right? You can see you cannot use the same password, so I need to change to another password before I should be able to work with it. So that is how the student can be able to change their password. Now for the CBT, if I go to the CBT, because we say the system is categorized into e-result, complete school management system without CBT, and the complete school management system with the CBT. All the CBT exam assigned to a student, the student will be able to see it here in their dashboard. All the CBT exam assigned, the student will be able to see it in their dashboard. And if you also check here, we have the all CBT exam. Below are all your assigned CBT exams. So any of the assigned CBT exam that is assigned to you as a student, you'll be able to see all the CBT exam questions here, right? So that you should be able to select them, all the CBT exams. Now, here's the user profile, the student name, the username, the email address, the country of the student, the phone number, date of birth, the address, the local government. All of this information you'll be able to get for the student. And the subject, what is the instruction, that is the description you are giving, and also the time allocated for the CBT exam and the number of the question that you have for the CBT exam. And before taking any of this CBT exam, you can see we have some call out here. So these call outs are actually trying to bring out your mind to this, to inform you that if you have actually started this exam, you cannot stop the exam automatically. So the exam must have to either be submitted by you, or the time will be able to submit the exam for you automatically. Okay, now this, once the start button is clicked, the exam automatically started. For a completed exam, click the start button to redirect you to the result page, right? Click the start button to redirect you. So now I have not taken any exams, right, for any of these, the CBT exams, right? Now for the instruction here, test the exam for the math. Time allocated is 10 minutes and the number of questions is 8. So I want to start this math exam. If I click on math exam, I have started, right? Start CBT exam below. I will close this by using this. And the time allocated is 10 minutes, and you can see the time has already started counting, right? So the time has already started counting. The instruction is testing the exam for math. Time allocated is what? It's 10 minutes, right? So time allocated is 10 minutes. So even if I click the submit button, so at the first page here I have the next, then I have the previous, go back, I have next, I have previous, I can go to next. You can see even after clicking the submit, I did not select any of this option, right? I have this telling me that please select an option for each question before submitting, right? Now I can go back to the previous. I must select an option before I'll click on submit. So for the one that you do not select the entire option, the moment your time elapses, the question will automatically submit. But if you do not select at least one question, if you use this submit button, you will not be able to submit the question. But if you do not select at least one question from this option and your time elapses, your CBT is going to submit automatically and you will not have results, right? Because there is no user ID or any exam for you. You are actually using the user ID. So now I will start from the beginning, whereby I have the 2 plus 2 to be 5, and I go to next. 1 plus 1 to be 2, I go to next. 5 times 2 to be 10, I go to next. The sum of a number A and B is A plus B, C plus A, C plus B, B plus A, and both A and C, I go to next. 10 oranges are to be shared by 5 students. How many oranges will each student get? I know it's 2, right? But I want to select 5, so that I should have one wrong answer out of 8, right? What is the product of 2 and 3? Is 6, right? Now, what is the product of 5 and 5? The product of 5 and 5 is 25. What I'm going to select here, I'll select 10. That is, I'm now selecting second option to be wrong, right? Now, this is the third option. What is the full meaning of HCF? Is highest common factor, but I'm going to select highest communication factor. Now, after that, I can click on the submit. So the moment you click on the submit, you can see it submits automatically for you. Just wait for it, and it will get the student information. A better choice is the motto of your school, right? The name of the student is here, the date of birth, the country, the state, the local government, and the CBT exam details. The exam title is General Math. The subject code MTH 101. The class is SS1. The time is 10 minutes, and the correct answer I actually selected to be 4. And the wrong answer I actually selected to be 4. So the wrong answer is 4, the correct answer is 4. So you can see the system actually graded me to be what? 50%, right? So 50%. So with that, I already have this, and you can see the date and the time that this exam was actually taken, right? The date and the time the exam was actually settled. You can decide to print this exam, and if I go back, I will not be able to take the exam anymore. Oh, sorry, CBT exam already submitted, redirecting to results page, right? So I'll be redirected to the result page. Even if I go back to my CBT again and I decide to click this exam, from what this call out is telling us, if I click on the start, I will not be able to see the result. It's just what? Redirecting me back to the result page. Now, I will not be able to see the CBT exam again. From the beginning, I will have to be redirected to the result page. Now, if I go back to the admin dashboard where I have the CBT result, right? Now the other time the CBT result, we have no data, right? Now if I click on this, you can see the student name has appeared, the exam is General Mathematics, MTH 101. The view question is there and the result. Now if I click on this view result, you can see the student details, right? The student name, the class of the student, the date of birth of the student, the country, the state, the local government, and the exam result. The subject name is this, the subject code is this, the correct answer is 4, the wrong answer is 4, and the percentage score is 50%, right? Exam completion is so big, and this is the time. Exactly what you are getting from your CBT result, exactly what is being transferred back to the admin stage for him to be able to know that yes, this is your score and this is how you actually get all of these things. So that is the entire overview for our system, for the complete school management system, So in this video, I've tried to explain to you the entire system, both from the admin dashboard. So I'm logging out from the student dashboard, both from the admin dashboard to the teacher dashboard. I'm logging out. This is student dashboard. I'm logging out from the teacher's dashboard. So logging out, also the admin, also logging out from the admin dashboard. So logging out from the admin dashboard. So everything is logged out. So this is the admin dashboard, the restricted area, teacher, and the student. So thank you for your time for following out all of this tutorial on our complete school management system. If you have any other question after watching all of these videos and you still did not get anything much, or you need more clarification about the system, please reach out to us. Thank you and stay blessed. Once more, I am again Adamu Bashir from OZ Mandego General Enterprise. Thank you and goodbye.